Hello everyone, welcome to today's class or today's lesson on government. So, to continue from where we stopped, we'll be looking at the basic political concepts such as power, authority, legitimacy, and sovereignty. So, to begin our class, we'll be starting with the basic political concept of power. Firstly, what is power? Power is the ability to influence others and control the outcome within governance. Or we can say that power refers to the ability to influence or control the behavior of others or to influence their behavior. So power is often used through the use of force, coercion, or persuasion, and it can be exercised in various ways, such as coercive power, which has to do with the use of force or threats in order to achieve compliance. And for economic power, this one has to do with the use of economic incentive or sanctions to influence behavior. And for normative power, it has to do with the use of ideas, values, or norms to shape the behavior or to influence the behavior of people in a community. So, powers can be gotten from various sources such as wealth, expertise, military strength, or legal positions within a society. And we have different types of power. We have economic power, we have political power, we have coercive or forceful power, and we have normative power. What is the significance of power in a governized community? Now, power is effective because it helps in enabling the decision making and law enforcement in a particular governmental community, which helps in shaping political outcomes and social order. So, we've considered the aspect of power. Let's move on to the next one, which is the concept of authority. So, looking at authority, how would you define authority? Authority refers to the legitimate power or the right to control, judge, or prohibit the action of others. It is often based on a recognized position or office, such as government, institution, or leader. Now, authority can be derived from various sources, such as traditional authority. Now, these various sources can also be considered as the types of authority. Now, looking at the types of authority, we have traditional authority, we have charismatic authority, and we have legal rational authority. Under traditional authority, this authority is based on customs and long lasting social structures. And in order to become a traditional authority, you have to get your legitimacy from traditions or inherited factor. Another aspect of charismatic authority, this one is based on an individual extraordinary personality and the ability to influence or inspire loyalty and devotion. While for the legal rational authority, this one is based on a system of rules, laws, and procedures because authority is granted through institutions and bureaucratic systems. So, understanding these types of authority helps us explain how different political systems are established and also helps in commanding obedience. So, let's move on to the next concept, which is legitimacy. Now, as we defined authority, we can also define legitimacy as the perceived rightfulness or acceptability of a government, institution, or leader's authority. Now, it is often based on the concept or approval of the governed, and legitimacy can be derived from various sources, just as how authority is derived from various sources. Now, the various sources of legitimacy can be seen as popular sovereignty, which have the idea that power comes from the people. And for constitutional legitimacy, this one has to do with the idea that a government or institution is based on a constitution or a set of rules. And for the performance legitimacy, it has to do with the idea that a government or institution's authority is based on one's ability to deliver goods and services. So, looking at this, we see that legitimacy can be seen in the role of governance, in the aspect that it encourages public compliance with laws and policies and helps to reduce reliance on the use of force or coercion. Now, legitimacy is also impactful because it helps in enhancing government's decision policy effectively and also helps to promote political stability over a period of time. Now, without legitimacy, rulers may face certain challenges such as resistance or instability, which can undermine their authority. Let's move on to the next one. So, it has to do with sovereignty. Now, what is sovereignty? Sovereignty refers to the supreme authority or power of a state or government to govern itself and its territory. That is, it implies that a state has the ultimate authority to make and enforce its laws within its territory or within its geographical boundaries without external interference. So, sovereignty can be divided into various sources, which can be viewed as the types of sovereignty. Now, we have many types of sovereignty. We have internal sovereignty, external sovereignty, de jure sovereignty, de facto sovereignty, popular sovereignty, and the rest. So I'll be explaining the two major ones, which are are the internal and external sovereignty. Now, the internal sovereignty has to do with the exclusive control over the domestic affairs, such as the lawmaking and enforcement of laws within its territory, while the external sovereignty has to do with the recognition and independence of a country without external interference. Now, sovereignty has also has a legal dimension, which is the authority of sovereignty is acknowledged by international law, which enables states to engage globally in politics. Now, sovereignty remains a defining feature that separates a state from other political entities. Let's move on. Now we've looked at the basic concepts of government. So looking at the interrelationship of power, authority, legitimacy, and sovereignty, you say that power and authority, how are they related? Now power becomes an effective authority only when it is accepted by the society and it is institutionalized. While for authority and legitimacy, for authority to be viewed as autocratic, it has to be for authority to be viewed as legitimate, it has to require legitimacy to sustain stable governance and public compliance. And while sovereignty as a relationship between these basic concepts sets the framework within which power, authority, and legitimacy operates in order to ensure autonomy and order. So together, this concept helps to analyze the dynamic nature of state power and the political order. So I think we are done for today. Let's move on to our next topic, which will take place next time. So see you all in the next lesson